Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Jesse Taylor, and I'm the co-founder and head of innovation for PlanFees. Joined by my associate, David Gantz, who is head of new business development. And thank you for joining our webinar today as we launch this brand new fee benchmarking service. In today's webinar, we're going to be talking about how you, as a retirement advisor, can save time and grow your retirement plan business. So according to Plan Advisor, Vestwell, NAPANet studies, an aggregate of those surveys featuring over 1,000 retirement advisors of various sizes, as well as my more than 10 years working as a consultant to retirement plan advisors, assisting with practice management, these are some of the biggest concerns that face retirement advisors today. When I speak with advisors throughout the country, various sizes and phases of their business, the number one concern is always growing their book of business, adding more clients. Next, advisors always talk about retaining clients. They want to increase retention so they don't have to go out and sell as much, as well as building scalable processes in their service model. Oftentimes that lends itself into leveraging tech platforms, whether that's CRMs, investment due diligence platforms, or fee benchmarking, fiduciary governance, whatever tech platforms you may have, how to leverage them to the best of your ability. And then fee compression. Fee compression is hitting us in many ways. That's from the service provider standpoint, as well as from competitive advisors who are offering their services at a perceived lower cost. Then they want to be efficient with their time. They want to be able to allocate their time correctly in the various aspects. We call that practice management. And then ultimately, advisors are worried about their competitive differentiators, especially in today's environment with the way that aggregators are gobbling up RIAs and advisors throughout the industry. Being able to have a competitive differentiator to go against anyone in your market is extremely important to advisors. When understanding your challenges and what the challenges that you might face, it's always good to know what phase of the business you are in. Are you a startup? Generally, I like to look at that as if you have under 5 clients and around or less than $200,000 in DC or retirement plan revenue. Are you thriving? You're doing really well. You've done great from the startup phase. You're doing great. You have 5 to 15 clients and anywhere from $200,000 to $500,000 in DC plan revenue. Are you dominant? Dominating, staying at the luxury hotels, at 25 to 75 clients and upwards of $1 million in retirement revenue. Generally, these advisors have moved up market. They're going after bigger business, and they've built their business thus far. Or are you in the elite phase? More than 75 clients, more than $1 million in revenue, probably multiple team members, and have this moving along. But no matter what phase of the business you're in, you're going to have certain challenges and certain solutions that you need for that phase. So understanding your needs. For the startup phase, it's all about prospecting tools. You want to make sure that you have the tools you need to go out and sell and grow your business. If you're thriving, you also need those prospecting tools, but you need a robust service resources and practice management resources so you can be more efficient with your time. If you're in that dominant phase, you need to scale up the technology that you have to become more efficient with your time. And generally that means bifurcating your sales and your service and your operational teams. So you're getting more hyper-focused for your specialty. And if you're elite, it's scalable technology to build practices for your multiple locations or advisors that you're bringing into the fold or acquiring or aggregating. And you need to make sure that you have a scalable service model that everyone has consistency of delivery. That'll help you save time and attack larger, more profitable plans. So how do you go from that startup to that elite phase? And you may be somewhere on that spectrum. You online, you might already be the elite phase, you might be in the startup phase, but it's important to know is, in my experience, and this is a formula that I've given advisors over the past 10 years, is a very simple formula to get an additional $500,000 in revenue into your retirement plan practice. Right? This is great. Every advisor who I've ever worked with, they want this. They want to know. And it's a very simple formula. It's 10 new plans a year at an average of $2 million a plan, 50 basis point average commission or fee, and a moderate 15% growth. And in 4 years' time, you as an advisor will add an additional $500,000 in revenue. It sounds great in theory, really easy, really simple. But every single advisor I've ever worked with always asks me, well, how do I do it? I don't have the time. I'm either, I'm a wealth manager and this is just a small aspect of my business, or I have 20 clients and I'm out of time. I don't have the ability to do this, but I'd like to. And this seems unrealistic. So I give everyone a really easy plan of attack. And it's really simple. You need to focus your time prospecting. So the top advisors in this purple bar here, top advisors, whether they're in startup phase, thriving, dominant, or elite, they're spending 1,500 hours a year, or 80% of their working time, sales and marketing and prospecting. So what about the typical advisor? Let's say not the elite and the top advisors that I'm working with, but the typical advisor in startup phase, they're working 1,500 hours a year. They're dedicating that time into their sales and marketing, and they're getting successful. They're doing great. And maybe they're not dedicating as much time moving forward as the other advisors. And you would think that their slope would go like this, and their time spent in prospecting would just decrease at whatever phase of business. But in my experience, what I've seen, the typical advisor actually never gets past the thriving stage. They get stuck there. They put themselves out of business. They grow their book of business, and then they lose the time. They're servicing their book. They're trying their best to grow their business, but they're not spending any time prospecting. So how do we get that $500,000 in revenue over 4 years' time while also dedicating that time and growing your book of business? And that's the challenge that I've always, in my career, tried to solve for advisors. So it's all about trusting the process. And our process is simple. I tell advisors, if you have 20 new or existing referral source meetings per month, as well as 20 hours spent researching 5,500s, data gathering, other publicly available databases, LinkedIn, Zoom info, anything where you can find out information and data on a plan sponsor, you need to be spending that time every week. And then doing 100 new prospect cold calls or emails per month. You need to have that activity and drip on those prospects. So you want to have somewhere from 2 to 4 drip campaigns. Those are emails. That's content that you're either creating in-house or leveraging from your broker dealer, your firm, or another agency out there. And that could also have a social or digital campaign along with it. So a lot of activity, but just like going to the gym, if you put in the hours, you'll see the results. Same thing when it comes to growing your business. If you're spending those 80 to 120 hours per month spent on sales and marketing activities, you're gonna reach those goals and grow your business. But how do you find the time? That's the number one question that I get. So here's some time-saving solutions, right? You want to be able to save time in the sales process. You want to shorten that sales cycle and try to do as little work as possible to have the same close ratios. And you want to get your time back by separating sales and service. And I'd say as soon as you get to that thriving stage, that's where you need to be separating sales and service. Have dedicated sales, and that's probably yourself as a business leader, or it's going to be, or having a business partner who focuses on sales and you focus on service. Then, as you grow, you need to enhance your operational efficiencies, have a scalable practice using all the available technology that's out there and building a nice scalable business. So it lets you dedicate and focus the time that you have on servicing so you can get out there and sell more. So PlanFees, our fee benchmarking application, we recently launched at the end of 2019. And what we looked at the industry and said, an area that advisors are spending too much time in the sales process or not even doing in the service process happens to be in fee benchmarking. So let's look at where we're at today as an industry when it comes to fee benchmarking. All right, there's a fee benchmarking challenge. We know it's one of the 3 F's, right? Funds, fees, fiduciary. And that's, that's kind of, it's been around for a while. And that's the process, right? You need to have one of those, the most advisors are coming with one or all 3 of those aspects, but you need to have an objective process. You need to analyze all the different providers, whether it's record keeper, TPA, investment management, the current advisor, or you yourself as an advisor. You need to analyze and document that. And if you're not doing an annual fee benchmarking, your competitors are leading with it. If you haven't delivered it, or maybe you did a simple RFP or one of the other available reports when you sold the plan, the competitors are coming in and talking about fees first. And then every year in 3 years, you got to repeat the cycle, right? So we know that service providers in 408B2 have to provide fee disclosures annually. But the ERISA never really says how to determine what reasonableness is. So there's different tools, technology, processes, ways to determine. So what is reasonable? In our view, and best practices out there by the Department of Labor and ERISA say that you need to be benchmarking the fees annually and then going out in some sort of live bid, RFP, or comparison every 3 to 5 years or as demographics change, right? But that's a lot of work, and you need good technology in order to do that at a scalable way to save time in your practice. So fee benchmarking today, right? Why we came up with PlanFees is that we saw that the commercially available resources out there just take too long to produce. They're not efficient to allow you to spend those 1,500 hours a year in sales. Or it might have inaccurate data sources. It might not include TPA fees. You don't know where that data is actually coming from. It could be self-entered. It's not reliable. Or the tool's just too expensive, right? And you have to be Scrooge McDuck here, jumping into your money tank in order to pay for it, right? But you need to be able to leverage a technology that's scalable, that's affordable, that's economical, that ensures that you have the right profit margins for each plan. Or the most common way that people are benchmarking fees, an actual paper book. And it's the year 2020, and we said there needs to be a better way to go out to a prospect that I don't have to be using a book, go through the pages, put together the analysis myself. We needed something really quick, really simple, and that's why we created PlanFees. We found the old way, and we surveyed advisors in every phase of their business, and we found that anywhere from 200 to 600 hours are being spent doing it the old way, whether cobbling it together themselves from the book, or they're using a different tool and it's taking anywhere from 24, 48 hours or more in turnaround time. So as an advisor, you need to look at what you're doing from a fee benchmarking perspective, whether you're providing it annually and what process you're using, or if you're not even providing an annual fee benchmarking to your client, you need to evaluate whether you have those right technology, systems, resources, and training to ensure that you have success. So that's where PlanFees come in. PlanFees, new technology. It's a subscription fintech platform, and we like to talk about it as a better benchmark. It helps you benchmark better, and our mission is to have accurate, on-demand, and revealing fee benchmarking analysis. Right, so subscription fintech, it's backed by industry vets with more than 200 years as leaders in practice management, investments, ERISA, technology, and sales and marketing. PlanFees will help you fulfill those fiduciary responsibilities of determining fee reasonableness and providing that annual benchmark. And it helps solve that current benchmarking challenge that we discussed of spending too much time or being too expensive. And it produces that accurate, on-demand, and revealing benchmarking report that'll help you save time and grow your business. Our logo, you see an icon there. It's called the Prism, and we built our system around this view of the Prism. And if you go to our website, you'll read a really fun article about the Prism and how we came to that. But our fee benchmarking process evaluates a retirement plan's total cost, and it breaks down its component parts, shedding light on areas of concern, just like a prism breaks up light into its component colors. Right? So our Prism benchmarking universe breaks up a plan's investments, record keeping, TPA, and advisory fees into its component parts and compares it against a benchmark with a low, average, and high. We look at it, and one of the main missions that we have is accuracy. It's a challenge that we felt out there is having accurate data. So we're, as industry veterans, with our background, we wanted to ensure that we can leverage that. So we've partnered with some of the top record keepers and databases out there. So we have a database of more than 60,000 plans, over $500 billion in assets in 401k and DC plans within our benchmarking universe. So that's plans in the mega size plan, over 100, 150 million, all the way down to startup and under $1 million. We have data integration with those top firms, TPAs, advisory platforms, as well as we found a challenge with current benchmarking methods that if a plan had 5 million and $1 in it, they were being put into a universe band between 5 million and $10 million. And that wasn't really realistic. So we created these custom asset and participant bands to fit your needs and fit the needs of your clients. We also have a really cool technology called optical character recognition, or OCR, that can read data from a 408B2 disclosure to ensure that the correct fees are getting entered in the system. And it's a really, really nice sales additive when you're showing that to a prospect. Part of PlanFees is that we want it to be on demand, fast. We like to call our process the 2-minute benchmark. No more sending a request into a platform and taking 48 or 72 hours to get it turned around. We want it in 2 minutes so you can get in, get out, and spend the time with your clients and prospects where you need to spend. We have a web and a mobile experience, and we're going to be showing a demo of that at the conclusion of these slides. Another part of our mission is we want to reveal to our clients and be transparent as to where fees are being charged and who's charging what. And our report is in a very easy to digest manner, and it'll reveal areas of concern and help you take action with your client and use one of the tools or technologies that you might have in order to cause change. But in less than 2 minutes, you'll be able to show a beautiful report that breaks down those retirement plan fees. So right now, I'm going to pass it off to my associate, David Gantz, and he's going to take us through a demo of the PlanFees benchmarking system.
Great. Thanks so much, Jesse. Yeah. And like Jesse said, really what I want to do today is just give you a demo of how PlanFees works. You know, everything that Jesse's described here, it sounds really great on paper, but what I'm here to show you is just exactly how simple, how easy, how efficient this process can be to really help you save time and benchmark better. But yeah, so here is that dashboard that I mentioned before. Again, this is the home screen that you'll see when you first log into the PlanFees site. The options here are to benchmark your plan or to be able to access those existing reports. When we click to benchmark our plan, this is going to take us to our benchmark universe home screen here, where you would select or where you would put in that basic information. So here we put in the plan's name, the plan type, and the TPA. Again, this is going to narrow down that universe of plans that we're looking at. The options here are to either scan the documents or to enter the data in manually. Clicking scan documents is going to be where you upload the photo of that 408B2 disclosure, and it's going to take that information from that document and upload it into the system. What you'll see here, though, as well, is that when we enter the data in manually, the amount of fields we need to actually put that report together are extremely minimal. So what you're seeing here, there's only 5 data points you need, 6 if there is a TPA associated with it. So we'll put in our plan assets here, the number of participants, our weighted investment expense. This is how much the actual investment manager is keeping as part of the process. So we're going to want to make sure that we're taking a look at just the investment fees here and then rolling any revenue sharing or things like that into the appropriate party, whether that's record keeper or advisor. So here we'll just say 75 basis points. For record keeping fees, you'll notice that there's a toggle here between percentage and dollar. That way, if the client's being charged a flat fee, you don't have to worry about going in and calculating that out to 5 or 6 decimal places to get it right where you need it to be. You can just switch that toggle over and type it right in. And then here you'll put in your advisor fee as well, or the advisory fee of whoever the current advisor is on that plan. Once we have that information in here, that's really everything that we need to get the report put together. We'll click this button to create our Prism benchmark. This is then going to take us down to our universe where we're going to see all the other plans that fit our criteria here. And so what we're going to do is once we have that benchmark universe that we're taking a look at, it's going to help us narrow down what that universe looks like. And so in this case, what we're going to see me go ahead and just throw that information back in here really quick. Get in our plan type. And with that benchmark universe, it's going to be comparing against those similar plans in the marketplace. So while that pulls up, I did have a question asking about what the data source that the universe pulls from. So we partnered with some of the top advisory platforms out there, some of the top technology firms, to take a look at the databases of plans that they were collecting as part of live bid benchmarking exercises. And so the universe that we're comparing it against is actual real plans that are being serviced by advisors. So in this case, when we're looking at a plan between 3.5 and 6.5 million, we're going to see there's about 2,300 plans that fit our criteria. Now, what we can do is we can actually customize that band as well. You'll see that it's centered around around where our plan is today. So where we're at a $5 million plan, we're looking at 15% in either direction. If we make this band a little bit larger, we go down to 3 million to 6.5 million for that benchmark universe. It's going to grow as a result of us making that scope of what we're looking at a little bit wider. And then below that, what you see is some information about your plan. So here we'll see our total plan cost, our per participant amount, and you'll see the low, average, and high here as well. You're able to denote which components of that of the universe you wanted to look at. So if you wanted to see low, average, and high, you can do that there. If you wanted to uncheck any one or more of those, you can do that as well. So if you wanted to see just the average, you can do that. If you wanted to see all three, you can absolutely do that as well. You can also customize the name that appears here on the cover of the report also. And then down at the bottom, you can choose to download that report in either landscape or portrait. At this point, what I want to do is show you the actual output of this report. So what you're seeing here, this is a sample output for the PRISM report. The title here has got a cover page with the name of the client, as well as your name here. You can have your logo appear up on the cover as well. On the very first page, we have a look at the plan at a high level. So here we're seeing our plan info up here in the top left, the benchmark info in the top right, and then we see our plan versus the low, average, and high as a dollar amount. So we see total cost, investments, record keeping, and per participant, and how that compares to the universe of similar plans. As we scroll down, we get this information in a little bit more detail here. So here what you'll see is we have our investments, record keeping, and advisory. It's all broken down as a percentage and as a dollar, so we can compare that information here. And then again, we see the low, average, and high. You'll see a breakdown of how the fees comprise your plan. This one's 50% record keeping, 28% investments, and 22% advisory. And you'll see graphically how that compares to other plans in the universe as well. And then on the last page here, we're going to see graphs that really break down that information for us to see in a really nice and visual way. In my example here, our investments are at 45 basis points, just a little bit above the average. The record keeping's up here at 80 basis points above even the high for this record keeping cost. And the advisory is just a little bit above average. This is where it's really easy to tell a story with your plan sponsors. So if this is a prospect, for example, you're looking at the record keeping cost way up above the high. How could we work with you to get that record keeping cost a little bit more in line? Maybe we want to do a live bid for you. Maybe we want to work with you just to make sure that you're at the right fit with the record keeping. Maybe you're on a John Hancock group annuity platform and we want to move you over to an OpenArc, an NAV platform that'll be more suited for a plan your size. Same thing with the investments. If their investments is on the high end, you can talk about giving them more efficient share classes, doing some fund changes just to get them more in line with everything else. But it's a really nice, really compelling report here that's going to be quick and super easy for you to produce. So that way for a client, you can do a quick and easy annual fee benchmarking. For a prospect, you can run this in 2 minutes with very minimal information to tell a really compelling story about their fees and really sell your advisory services. But overall, just a really quick, really efficient, really easy way to get that report put together.
Yeah, so kind of going back to what we were saying, whether you're in startup, you're thriving, you're dominant, or you're elite, you need to be able to save time, have scalable technology, and a powerful sales tool that hopefully will enable you to get in, open doors, or close the business so you can do all the advisory work that David said, whether that's investments, fees, fiduciary governance, take over the plan. You need to have that proper tools and technology. And we think PlanFees is a great new solution to help you with that. So, the next step, if you like what you see, you want to sign up, you can go to planfees.com to our website and just sign up right there. Or if you want to learn more, please contact David Gantz at planfees.com. There's his contact information. And thank you very much for your time. We will be answering some questions via the chat and Q&A if you want to stick around for a couple more moments. But if not, we'll be sending out a follow-up information. You can just follow up with us if you want to learn more. So thank you very much.
Yeah, so we have a question here regarding the 4AP2s. 4AP2s vary greatly. Will the photo feature be able to pull up all the information necessary to create a benchmark regardless of which provider a 4AP2 comes from? What we've been doing is working with providers to get as many of those in there as possible. One of the biggest challenges with optical character recognition technology in general is being able to standardize the types of reports that we're taking a look at. So have been in the industry for a long time. We work with a lot of different providers, and we've taken a really large database of 4AP2s that the system recognizes. But if there is ever one that you encounter that the system's having trouble picking up, if you can send us over that report, our team can get it programmed so that the next time you work with that provider, it'll be ready and available to work with the OCR technology. So we have a database of probably close to 100 4AP2s that our system is working off of. But we're always adding more whenever we see one that's not part of our database. We try to build that in as well to really get that as robust as possible. Yeah, and another question we have is just regarding the pricing related to PlanFees. So in order to add PlanFees, it's going to be, you would sign up through the website or give me a call, send me an email, and we can talk through it. It's $83 per month to get that subscription added on, and that gives you access to run any and all reports that you would like to. So if you wanted to run 10 reports for a single client in a day, you can run that really quickly and easily. You have it on demand, you have it ready. So for just $83 a month, you get access to running thousands of these reports if you need to every single year. Yeah, so another question here is related to some other similar systems that are out there in the marketplace. So PlanFees is something that we developed here internally. We've definitely took a look at other databases that are out there, Fiduciary Benchmarks, the Axis Castle Rock universe, 401kplans.com. Those are all ones that we've taken a look at. And, we've basically found things that we weren't really thrilled about with each of them. So we wanted to design something that would incorporate all of the best features of those, but still, have the simplicity, have the ease, have the powerful output that you might see in those other ones at an extremely low cost as well. Yeah, another question here is regarding the possibility of uploading PDFs versus images of 4AP2s. So that's something we're absolutely looking into as well. It's some technology that's not really out there and wasn't something that was really readily available when we were first developing this site, but our team is really breaking that down and looking into it in a lot more detail. And it's something that that we're really working on. The technology is really converting the PDF into another format and then having it be read out that way. And that'll be really useful for the web version. Whereas for the mobile version, obviously taking a picture of the report that's right in front of you is probably going to be the quickest and easiest way. Yeah, another question here is, will small plans with only a simple 5500 filing be enough to pull the specific info on a prospect to get the specific fees they're paying? By and large, you should be able to get everything that you need out of even the simple 5500 filings. The information that's requested, as you saw, it's just investment cost, record keeping, and advisory fee. Of course, you'll have the participant count. Of course, you'll have the plan assets as part of that. And So the simple 5500 should have everything that you need. Worst case scenario, it may only have the investments, and then you can use that to sort of get an idea, a gauge of what the investment fee is. But all the other components you should easily and quickly be able to find as part of a 5500 filing. Yeah. So another question here is, does the pricing allow for multiple users? Right now, the pricing is built on a per user basis. However, we're exploring adding 2 users per license as well. But at this time, it is that is the $83 a month is the pricing for a single user. That was all the questions that we had for now. If you have any other last minute questions, we'll hold off for just another minute to wait for those. All right, looks like that's all the questions we have for now. Again, I want to thank everybody so much for your time today, coming here to learn about PlanFees. Again, if you have any additional questions, you can go to planfees.com to learn some more information, or reach out to me, David Gantz. You can see my contact information there on the screen, david.gantz@planfees.com, or just give me a call, 949-305-3781. Thank you all so much for joining us. Hope you all have a great day.